Welcome to Hawkstone Park, England, for round 7 of the World 500cc Motocross Championship. The circuit here at Hawkstone Park reckoned to be the most grueling motocross circuit in the world, and here's one young man that's come well equipped to cheer on his heroes, and this hero may well be one of them. Number 1, this is the bike of Georges Joubert. He's currently second in the standings in the World Championship, just 5 points behind our own British Kurt Nicholl. This is the bike, the Sinti Honda, with the Eric Gabor's HRC 500cc engine in it. And here's another machine, the bike of the Action Workshop rider Billy Lyles, the American, also with the Eric Gabor's HRC plant under the petrol tank. Gerard Smith, number 19, the British rider from Gainsborough in Yorkshire. Here you see the infamous whoops here at Hawkstone Park. Many a downfall of a great rider on the opening couple of laps. Kurt Nicholl, the championship leader, number 9 on the Austrian KTM, shows them the way round. And here comes the American Lyles. Drops into the newly modified sand hole. Another one of those very famous parts of this Hawkstone Park circuit. Over that jump there and under the bridge, heading towards the finish line. Lyles takes another look. As Kurt Nicholl and the Team KTM manager, his father, Dave Nicholl, look on, Joubert takes a very cautious stroll around the circuit prior to the start as Georges Joubert comes down onto the line for the first 25-minute heat. Rudy van Lervin there. Number 3, Dirk Gherkins. There's Lyles, number 5, as the crowd wait for the 30-second board to go up to herald the start of this first race. 5-second board is there, the gate drops and away they go, up for the first time into the tunnel. Joubert it is. Lyles was also there beside him, but Joubert, the defending champion, so far in the lead on the start of this first moto. But it's now Lyles, Joubert down into second, and that's Jeremy Watley, number 12, the British rider who finished 4th on the podium here last year, in 3rd. David Thorpe was there in 4th as the rest come through, and Kurt Nicholl, no sign. Oh, there he is. Nicholl got hooked up on the start gate. We're bound to have some controversy over that. Nicholl's gate apparently didn't drop, but Lyles it is. In the lead, Joubert second, and Watley, to the delight of the crowd, hanging on there in the Action Workshop machine to 3rd place. Thorpe was behind him. Number 17, Schmetz, has just gone through, but it's Lyles from Joubert, from Watley and Thorpe. Maybe this is the comeback that they've all been waiting for from the former multi-world champion David Thorpe. Gherkins, number 3. There's Warren Edwards. That's the second of the Action Workshop crew. We've got Action Workshop leading, Action Workshop 3rd, and the apprentice in the 500 series this year. Young Warren Edwards is in a good position at the moment. Up the hill they go. It's Lyles at the front. The Georgian-born American who led a race here last year on when then riding Kawasaki's until the machine expired and dropped him out of the points, but he's making up for it this year. He's in the lead in Moto 1. Look at Watley, listen to the crowd. They are going bananas. He did it here last year. He got into second in 2 of the races, just only 2 last year. The new format of 3 25-minute plus 2-lap races for 1992. And already they're talking about maybe changing that to 30 minutes plus the 2 laps. But look at Watley, listen to the crowd. This maybe is the start of something good for Jeremy Watley. Injuries have denied him better positions over the last couple of previous Grand Prix, but Watley has got his head on here today. Thorpe goes through the whoops. Schmetz, number 17, chases him. We're looking back, that looks like Anstey going through. Mervyn Anstey, another one of the British riders, so they really are having a good day here at their home Grand Prix. Number 11, Johan Boonen on the Kawasaki, he goes through. And we heard in the background momentarily there, the Husqvarna of Jackie Martins. There just on the left, that's Paul Wong, one of Kurt Nicholl's mechanics, as they charge up the hill, famous Hawkstone Hill, into the sandhole once again. Joubert chasing Lyles, and there Watley on the second of the HRC Eric Gabor's engines. That's Mr. Johnson there with Rebecca Lyles, that's Billy Lyles' wife. Deep in discussion, and Nicol has decided to call it a day. He actually got up to 12th position, then crashed, and there will no doubt be some controversy regarding that start gate. But Lyles it is. Jove both dropping into the sand hole together. The American coming back after a slow start to this year's Grand Prix, and you remember that the year before last was leading the world class when he crashed and injured himself quite badly with a broken leg, and that ruined his chances. Last year was a very up and down season for him, but this year things are certainly coming together for Lyles. Dirk Gerkens on the podium here last year in first overall position. Johan Boonen, number 11, on the Kawasaki, and we're back at the front once again with Billy Lyles, number 5. Jove seems not at the moment to have an answer to the fast-charging American, but Watley, you can hear him coming. 2 laps to go. The British rider heralded on. Schmetz. Joel Smets there. Thorpe beginning to fall back just a little bit now into the clutches of Gerkens and Boonen. 111 here, the Swede Jörgen Nielsen, and he's settling down quite comfortably at the moment, but none so more than this man. Out front, number 5, Lyles, riding the Action Workshop Johnsons, backed HRC engined Honda. Watley still there in 3rd place, looking at 15 points, 1 lap to go. Motorcycle News banner there in the background, above the bridge. There's Boonen, number 11. He's still up there in the points and charging hard. Circuit conditions now, as always. And there's Gerard Smith, number 19. We say conditions beginning to rough up a little bit on the track. Here comes Lyles and takes the checkered flag. Jove then finished in 2nd. Watley came home in 3rd. Nicholas, we said, retired. There's Schmetz in 4th, number 17 on the blue Honda. And behind that group, well, let's see who's it going to be. It could well have been Gerard Smith. We'll check our point scoring here, but there's your top 3 on the podium. Certainly a very happy Action Johnson's Workshop team for sure. The winner there with the 20 points in Heat 1, the Georgian American Billy Lyles on the US Honda. George Jove 2nd. Jeremy Watley, the Brit, finishing 3rd. Joel Smets was 4th. Dirk Gerkens came home in 5th, and Johan Boonen finished in 6th. And Gerard Smith came home behind Boonen in 7th position. There you see Billy Lyles and Willy Vopkin making their way to the start for the commencement of Heat 2. Aaron Nicol there with the Silkling KTM jacket on. That's Kurt Nichols' brother and mechanic, as we wait now for the riders to come onto the line for the 2nd heat. 3 heats in all now in these World 500 Grand Prix, 25 minutes plus 2 laps, replacing the old 2-heat 40-minute system. Someone there has decided to take up a little bit of gardening as the riders line up. There is Jackie Martins, number 2 there in the world last year, riding the 4-stroke Husqvarna. As the 5-second ball goes up, the gate drops, and here they go again. Heat 2, up the start hill, into the corner, into the tunnel. This is where you can either make it or break it. Into that first right-hand corner, which has traditionally always been a popular place with the crowd, because you do tend to get 1 or 2 riders falling over each other. It's Lyles that leads, Jove in 2nd. Through the whoops, Lyles. That looked like Warren Edwards in 3rd. The apprentice Action Workshop young rider coming up from last year's 250 ranks into this year's 500 ranks. As we look at the rest of the team go through, as you can see, very technical, those whoops. Everybody's made it through quite safely, but it's Lyles, Jove, and that looks very much like Nicol now. Yes, indeed, Nicol, Kurt Nicol, the British rider. On number 9, the Austrian KTM, into 3rd. So Nicol will be a lot happier with this start. Complaining bitterly about the gate to the jury here, but so far no action has been taken. But it's Nicol looking for a better point. He's going for Jove on the inside, to the delight of the Parisian crowd. Nicol going after Jove. Jove hangs on. Well, I can assure you that the British fans here will be well and truly right behind Nicol. But at the moment, it's the American Lyles leading for the 2nd time today. And he's under pressure from the defending champion. Jove goes into the lead. They head for the uphill jump. That's the road section where you cross the track to get to the trade stands. But Lyles comes back. Billy Lyles on the identical HRC machine. Pulls on, well, we lost somebody there, 78 it was that went back to the paddock. Obviously some kind of problem. It was Franco Rossi, didn't finish the first outing either, so Rossi, not a happy man. But at the moment, there's one that's a little happier than he was before. Kurt Nickel, the leader. Number 5, it's Lyles up the hill. And look at Boonen. The Belgium Johan Boonen, number 11 on the Kawasaki, has taken second from Jobé. So Boonen has found some speed from somewhere, and he's found even more because he's now taken the lead. It's Lyles in second, Jobé there in third. Here's fourth place man, Jeremy Watley. Fifth now for Nickel. So Nickel has obviously made a mistake somewhere out of our vision. We look behind them, and there's the four-stroke, the Husqvarna of Jackie Martins, number 2. And look at this. There is a young man that's really setting everybody alight. That's young Jason Higgs, the youngest rider ever to have qualified for a 500 World Grand Prix. Did it 2 weeks ago at the tender age of 18 on that day. But Boonen has now dropped back into second place. We're looking here now at Jobé, still occupying third, and it seems to be a lonely third for the defending champion. Looking back, there is Watley, there is Nickel, the two British riders together, fourth and fifth, and Martins is there in sixth position. Jackie Martins, what a sensational ride on the four-stroke. So the checkered flag went out, and it's a kiss from Rebecca to Billy. 20 points, a hug from the Johnson's backers, and there you are, the top 3. It's Lyles, Boonen and Jobé. Well, the interesting thing also is that young Jason Higgs finished 15th and scored just the 1 point. The question now is he the youngest point scorer ever in a 500 Grand Prix? Well, Heat 2, we see the results here. Billy Lyles picks up another 20 points. Boonen picks up 17. Jobé picks up 15. Watley held on for 4th. Kurt Nickel held on for 5th. And Jackie Martins on the four-stroke took 10 points in 6th place. Now they come down onto the line then for the third and final heat of the day. Martins there having just a little bit of a problem getting that Husqvarna fired up. Not unusual for four-strokes to be a bit difficult to start, but certainly Martins, a former KTM rider last year when he finished second in the World Class Championship, and now on four-strokes. Maybe this will be the last year that we see Jackie in the 500cc Championship. Let's hope not, because certainly today he's debuting the four-stroke and doing a wonderful job of it. 30-second board, the 5-second board spins around. Lyles, you see the back of him there, number 5. The gate will drop. It does. There's Jobé on the inside. Number 1, they go up that hill into that first corner, and it's a brave cameraman that stands there. Through they go, 4th gear. A great big handful on these 500s. They really are motoring, and it's Lyles. Goes into the whoops in the lead for the 3rd time. Jobé in 2nd for the 3rd time. There was Boonen behind that group in about 6th. Well, they're all safely through, and look at this. It's Anstey, the bike sport Honda rider. Mervyn Anstey, the Brit, gone into the lead. He came from nowhere through the back part of the circuit, and he's taken the run in at the moment, but I'm sure Lyles won't let him stay there for too long, and he doesn't. Lyles goes into the lead. Anstey now into 2nd, but still a great start from the young Mervyn Anstey from Ringwood in Hampshire. Anstey, as I say, on the bike sport Honda. Really, he's a privateer more so than a factory rider now for Anstey. And sadly, David Thorpe, suffering with that back injury picked up a few weeks ago, retiring here from Heat 3. 56 also goes back to the paddock with him. That's Eric Delanoy, and another retirement here. It looks like 78. If that's the case, it's Franco Rossi. Well, Rossi's not had the best of Hawkstone Parks here this year. And look at Martins. Where did he come from on the four-stroke? Martins has gone into the lead. Now, how many years is it since you saw a four-stroke leading a 500 World Class Championship race? Unbelievable stuff. Schmet's going through. There's Gerard Smith, number 19, but this really is drama at the front. Number 14 charging very hard there, Ronnie Ulsterrad. And here is Lyles. Where's the four-stroke? There he is. Martins has got Jobé behind him. And there is Nickel in 4th. Kurt Nickel just not seem to be able to get on the pace today. He's going as quick as everybody else. but just doesn't seem to have that little bit extra to get past. But fourth position, can't be too unhappy with that. There's Schmetz, number 17 on that very distinctive blue Honda. Looking back through the park, there is Jeremy Watley, number 12. He's had a good day here, and if he finishes where he is now, that could take him to third overall. But look at this. It's Martins once again challenging for the lead. Husqvarna, the Swedish four-stroke machine. Listen to the mellow bellow as it roars up the Hawkstone Hill. Wonderful stuff this is. Jobay, number 1, the defending champ, now has Martins behind him, so Jobay's beginning to put on a bit of a sprint. Wonderful shot here of the Hawkstone Park circuit, reckoned to be some as the most grueling circuit in the world. Jeremy Watley, the Johnson's Action Workshop man, third in the first race, fourth in the second race. Very gnarly and whoopie-dooey. They come through. We're looking at each rider. There's Gherkins, number 3. Gherkins, the overall winner here last year, but Lyles takes the win. 3 out of 3 for Billy Lyles. Surely that's got to make him really smile. Wife Rebecca gets a hug. So does Mr. Johnson's get a hug. But there you are, the top 3 from race 3. So it's Lyles then, Schmetz and Jobay. And the good news is from the British camp that young Higgsy scored himself 1 or 2 points in that last race. Well, I hope you enjoyed your day here at Hawkstone Park. I know we did. We'll see you again soon.
Dunlopad brake pads, the choice of the top teams and riders. High braking performance on all off-road surfaces in all weather conditions. Improved wear life over organic-based pads. Dunlopad, available worldwide. Manufactured by Phil Ailiff Products.
France and Cusack for round 8 of the World 500cc Motocross Championship. Third position from Hawkstone Park in England, where he increased his points tally. Here's Billy Lyles with 273 points. Still chasing the Englishman Kurt Nickel, still in second position with the 300 points. And the man that those two are trying to catch at the moment, Georges Jobay, the defending champion with 318 points. Well, today, round 8 of this championship, vital for all those 3 riders. There you see Nickel's bike. There's 93. That's Franco Rossi. And here is third place man, the American Billy Lyles, hoping for a similar success that he had in England with those 3 heat wins. 25 minutes plus the 2 laps. There's Jobay, number 1 on his back, the defending champion from last year. In the foreground there, number 9, that was Nickel. That's Warren Edwards, 55, as we say, the apprentice this year in the 500 class. Number 12, Jeremy Watley. Number 7, David Thorpe. They're all lining up and looking for a good grid position as the 5-second board spins around here in France for Moto 1 to commence. The gate drops. Here they go. Jobay up the inside. And, well, indeed, we've got a pile of men and machines. Could well have been Johan Boonen amongst that group. And another pile of machines on the first corner. Well, there indeed was a very brave cameraman. That looks like number 111 that went down. That would have been Jürgen Nielsen, but Jobay it is that has gone into the lead. Circuit conditions very tacky from the overnight rain. Nickel holding on to second position at the moment, and that's David Thorpe in third. That's Watley. There is Lyles having to contend with the, as I say, slightly slippery conditions. The rest of the riders come through. Trying to pick out who they are. The old plates on the bikes looking just a little bit mucky. But those riders that went down off the starter gate and then into that first corner, back on their bikes and beginning to sort themselves out. Number 69, that was the Brit, young Higgsy, Jason Higgs. As they come around 111, there was one of those riders, Nielsen it was, that went down, and Boonham was amongst that group that went down. But we're back at the front. The Belgian, 4 times the world champion, Georges Joubert, looking for his 5th crown. Down the hill and now has established himself quite a useful lead from this man. Second place, it's number 9, the British rider, Kurt Nicol. Looking back behind Nicol at the moment. It's Thorpe. This is the Thorpe that really everybody was used to seeing. 3 times the world champion, Billy Lyles there, trying so hard to take this championship away from this man. Number 1, Joubert. 318 points he comes into this first moto. Nicol in second with the 300 points. Well, if they stay as they are, they will indeed stay as they are in the overall positions in the championship after this first leg. There is Lyles back there in 4th at the moment. He's got Jeremy Watley behind him. The second, the Action Workshop men. Very, very nearly that was it for Lyles. A little bit too much power on the back of the bike. It nearly threw him off. But it's Joubert, Mr. Consistent, Mr. Ever Professional he is, riding the Sinti Honda with the Eric Gabor's HRC factory motors under the fuel tank. And a lead indeed he has, because the Austrian KTM man here, number 9, Kurt Nicol, looks now to have lost touch with the leader. Looking back for 3rd. We have a battle on for 3rd and 4th. It's Thorpe on the other Sinti Honda from Lyles. Lyles has got up there now and is going after Thorpe's position. It'll be 15 points if Lyles can get in front of Thorpe. Well, Lyles has made a mistake, because here's Jeremy Watley, the other Action Workshop rider, is now challenging the Sinti Honda rider David Thorpe. And there's Lyles coming back after those two, so Billy won't be happy with that, but I'm sure he'll be back in that position before much longer. At the front, under no threat whatsoever, there he is, Georges Joubert, number 1. Gorgeous George, as he's now known. Nicol, number 9, still holds on to 2nd place, and comfortably as well, because we're looking back now for 3rd, 4th and 5th. And it's still Thorpe there in 3rd. That looks like Lyles that's in 4th now. Yes, indeed, Billy Lyles has got up to 4th. Watley has gone down to 5th. So the 2 Johnson's Action Workshop men together. One on the full-blown factory HRC bike, the other one on the slightly more production machine, but it doesn't seem to make an awful lot of difference to Watley. He can stay with the factory bike. Down the hill they come. Thorpe has now lost that 3rd position to Lyles, and now comes under threat from Watley. And look at that, a little bit of shoulder charging. He's only about 5'10" is Jeremy Watley, and David Thorpe is well over 6 foot, and a pretty big lad as well. It's a big man's class, this 500 class. Generally, most of the riders all 6 foot or more. But young Jeremy Watley, the 1991 British Open class champion, challenging a former British Open class champion at the moment, and a former world champion, David Thorpe. Ooh, the back end of that bike kicked around there for Watley. He's going after Thorpe's Sinti Honda. Thorpe, this is very much a production bike that Thorpe's on. Really the first time ever that Thorpe has ever ridden really what one would describe as a production machine. 2 laps to go. The board spins around for 1 lap to go. And here's Gorgeous George looking to pick up 20 points. And that will no doubt make him extremely happy. Nicol looking at 17 points at the moment in 2nd place. As 3rd and 4th come through, I think we've lost Thorpe, you know. I think Thorpe has gone missing, because it's Lyles and Watley. 26, that's young Brian Wheeler, the Watton Underedge rider from England. He's having a much better day, but it's Georges Joubert then that takes the checkered flag and Heat 1 win. Nicol then chases home in 2nd position. As I say, picks up those 17 points. And they'll no doubt be happy with those 17 points. Third place then, it was Billy Lyles. And back behind Lyles, it was indeed Jeremy Watley. Well, looking back, there's Thorpe. Well, he finished in 5th. David Thorpe beginning to show some of his own form that we're so used to seeing over the past years. But there goes Jeremy Watley back to the park. Vermey and George Jobey takes the applause of the French crowd and receives the trophy. Gets a kiss from the young French lady in there. There's a very interesting trophy. One that's made of glass or whatever, but it's certainly something that's very unusual we don't often see. The French commentator here giving the second place man, Kurt Nickel, a really good send-up. And we look back now for third place man. He leads him across. They say the French are very passionate, but I hope he lets go of Billy Lyles. Well, he's done. Billy Lyles gets his trophy. Well, we wait now for the riders to come down onto the start gate for the commencement of Heat 2. There is the first heat winner, number 1, George Jobey. Prepares himself, relaxed, very relaxed is George. Here's Lyles, third in that first outing. Needs really to start winning if he stands any chance of hoisting himself up into the lead of this World Championship. So the pressure is now on Lyles as number 14 slots in beside him. Ronnie Oosterraad. You'll remember Ronnie from 2 years back. Really shook everybody up at the start of this season. Nickel there slots in beside those two, as well as Thorpe and Jeremy Watley. 32nd, well, that's a very novel way of starting the race. The first time I've ever seen it done like that. Well, the French always think of it first, if not the Americans. 5-second board spins around the gate, will drop. That's Franco Rossi beside George Jobey, number 93, as they go up the start straight for the second time today. Let's have a look, see who it is. It looks very much like Rossi, indeed it is. Franco Rossi, it's Lyles in second, and it's Watley, Jobey, Nickel, Thorpe with some track tape, Anstey was in there as well. Another one of the British riders, there's Dirk Gherkins. They come, that's Oosterraad, number 14 gone through. Boonham was amongst that group. And there is younger Warren Edwards, 55. We picked them up, but it's Franco Rossi at the moment from Lyles. Lyles has to start winning. Has to start picking up 20-point maximums from now on if he's to catch that man, number 1, George Jobey. Thorpe looking more of his former self. And the interesting thing about this French track is that the commentator is rushing from one side of the track to the other with a radio microphone. That's something you don't often see. Often see a very fit lad. Well, we've got a problem here for 69, the British rider. That's Jason Higgs. Well, he retires back to the paddock. Some sort of problem there. But the leader, once again, Franco Rossi from number 5 in second place, Billy Lyles. Then it's Jeremy Watley. Then it's Kurt Nickel. Nickel has to start winning. He's not going to get that championship if he doesn't win. Watley coming through yet again. Looking back for the leader. It looks now as Lyles has taken the lead. Rossi obviously making a mistake somewhere. There's Nickel. Well, we really are. And there's Jobey behind Nickel. Now, Nickel needs to finish in front of Jobey. He's got Watley in front of him, so you've got the two British riders. You've got an American, 2 Brits and a Belgium there. And one of those Belgians being the championship leader. There's Watley, and there is Jobey going after Nickel. Nickel desperately needs to keep him behind him. So here's the man at the moment that's looking at 20 points. Billy Lyles, second place, it's Jeremy Watley. And there now is Jobey, back still behind Nickel. Now, can Nickel keep him there? Over the big jumps they go. Track conditions certainly excellent in this second moto. Lyles it is at the front and very happy with himself after those 3 wins in England. Got a third, and this could be a win. We shouldn't speak too soon. Commentators curse on a rider. You're probably wondering there in your armchairs where that nice four-stroke Husqvarna of Jackie Martin's is. Well, I can tell you that he's not in the racing today. He broke his hand on the last lap of qualification yesterday, which was a crying shame. Here comes Rossi, early race leader. Now back in 5th position. David Thorpe, number 7. He's dropped back a fair bit. Obviously that back injury beginning to play some sort of part in his race condition. Schmetz there and Boonen together. Number 17, number 11 to the sound of the horns. Here comes the American. It's young Billy Lyles. Well, not so young as he probably is now. Well, he's younger than I am. So Jobé has got up in front of Nicol. That's disaster from the Englishman. He needed to finish ahead of Jobé, but Jobé now going after 2nd place. Jeremy Watley occupies that position at the moment, and Jobé, the wily old warhorse of motocross. He's been around a few years, a 250 champion, a 500 champion. The only class that Jobé has never won was the 125, and he did have a go at it a couple of years ago. Here's the leader. It's Lyles, and Jobé now up into 2nd place. Watley 3rd, and it's Nicol that's 4th. So Nicol now needs to get past Watley. Jobé will obviously be looking for the lead if he can catch Lyles. Here is the leader. Looking very happy at the moment at the front, and that's where he stayed until the checkered flag. So it's Billy Lyles picked up the maximum. Jobé held on to 2nd position. Kurt Nicol held on to 3rd. So there you are, the top 3 with our very energetic French commentator. George Jobé, as he says, receives another one of those rather unusual looking plaques. Nicol it is there in 3rd. Happy with those positions? I doubt it. He wants to win, does Nicol. Heat 3 comes down onto the line. And under starters orders, the 5-second board spins around. That gate will drop any time after that 5-second period is up, and it does, and here they go. And that looks like Jobé on the inside that's gone for the lead. Someone's gone down. Well, we've got a whole heap of men and machines. Well, Johan Boonen, number 11, is amongst that group. I can't see the others, but it is Jobé that's in the lead. Franco Rossi then 2nd, Lyles is 3rd. Lyles will want to go back after Jobé. That's Mervyn Anstey, the British rider, in 4th. There's Nicol as the rest come charging through. Gherkin, Schmetz was there. There he is. There's Gherkin's just gone through. Ronnie Oosterraad, number 14. David Thorpe, number 7. Mortensen, number 15. There's Jason Higgs, the British rider. He's going well. He dropped it on the first corner. He really is on the gas. We're back in the front once again with race leader, the Belgian George Jobé. 93 it is, Franco Rossi, the Italian, in 2nd. The American Billy Lyles 3rd. Back down the pecking order a little, that's Warren Edwards. He's 3rd of the Action Workshop boys, and Jürgen Nielsen, the Swede, going through. Oh, look at them hoisting these bikes up. Someone there very nearly made a mistake. David Thorpe, number 7. Mix and mash of men all over the track, and the leader here, Jobé it is, gets the board. Rossi in 2nd place, 93. Lyles gets a scream on from his wife, Rebecca. Nicol gets a cheer on from someone. That will probably be his brother Aaron. There's Watley, and there's Anstey. Well, that's a good ride from young Mervyn. There's Edwards. So Edwards is not going so bad. In the top 10 at the moment. That looked like Schmetz behind him. But here's the leader once again. 20 points forecast on the horizon at the end of this race from the defending champion, Jobé. Lyles is still there. He needs to catch Jobé, and look at this, Nicol is out. There's a problem with the bike. I think that may be an ignition problem of some kind. It's just stopped, and that a very dejected British rider, Kurt Nicol. Any chances now of catching this man, George Jobé, in the championship are really starting to disappear into the horizon, as Jobé seems to be doing at the moment from Rossi and this man, Billy Lyles. Well, the question now is, can Lyles get after Jobé? Rossi between them. Italian having a much better outing here in France. Looking back now, and there is Watley. Well, there's Mr. Consistent. He really is starting to come on as the season goes on. Jeremy Watley from Ringwood. just outside London, in England. George Jobé, the Belgium, still leading. And there's Rossi. Seems to be nothing Rossi can do at the moment about catching the leader. But here's Lyles. He's beginning to close on Rossi. So we may... well, look at that, eh? There's the Belgian flag. Or at least I think it's the Belgian flag. Watley. Number 12. Well, as I said, he's beginning to put his pace together. Results are beginning to come together as the season goes on. Anstey, second of the British riders. We've lost Nickel, remember. There's Schmetz, number 17. Winds the bike on as they come down the hill. Here's Ronnie Ustenrad, number 14, on the Kawasaki. I haven't seen a lot from Ronnie this year. Number 71, that's Rudy van Leuven. There's Dirk Gherkins, number 3. Dirk not having one of his most consistent seasons. But here's the man that consistency is his second name, George Jobé. Looking at the moment at a potential 20 points. Back in second place, 93, Franco Rossi, still third for Lyles. Seems not to be able to do anything about that KTM that's in front of him. And look, we've got a change at the front. This is Rossi. Rossi has got the lead. Jobé has made a mistake somewhere, but Rossi going now after the 20 points. There is Jobé. He has got Lyles parked right behind him, so Lyles can see a chance. And I think that may well be that Lyles might be looking for the win. Yep. And someone on the ground there. I can't see who it is. It's Gherkins, number 3. That's the bike that's down. Dirk Gherkins on the floor. It's collided with somebody else. I can't see who the rider is that's steering the riders away from him. But 1 lap to go at the moment. It's Rossi that leads. Here he is, 93 on the bike. This will make this man very, very happy. Looking back for second, it was number 1, George Jobé. But it's Rossi that takes the checkered flag. Jobé taking second. We're looking back for third then. Where indeed is Billy Lyles? And there he is. Third place and only 15 points. Well, Lyles won't be happy for that. Young Jeremy Watley finishing 4th with the 13 points. Top finishing Brit in this race. Mervyn Anstey right behind him in 5th position. Oh, there is Franco Rossi. This is the 5th heat win that he's had this year in the 500 Grand Prix Series. Happy with it, but with sand to come, not really a serious threat. Billy Lyles, who incidentally lost his goggles halfway through the race. That's why you saw him drop off the challenge on George Jobé. A lot of muck got into his eyes, couldn't see where he was going, so he decided to settle for a safe third. George Jobé there gets congratulations and answers the questions from the press as Billy Lyles wets down Franco Rossi. Quite hot here today, in the 70s, near 80s. So Franco Rossi then takes the 20 points. Gets the kiss of the young lady. And once again, one of those unusual trophies. George Jobé.
Billy, have you seen Kurt Nicole out during the race?
I didn't know that he was out until George just told me now. I didn't see him on pushing his bike on the track.
Well, bad news for Nickel, but good news there for Billy Lyles, because this now hoists him up to 2nd overall in the world standings, with Nickel falling back into 3rd. Jeremy Watley finished 3rd overall on the day here in France. I hope you enjoyed it, because I know we did.
Honda's success continues with first, second and third at the British and French 500 Grand Prix. Jeff Stanton riding the CR250 wins the American Supercross Series. Greg Albertine and Dave Strybos are 1 and 2 in the World 125 Championship, and Rob Herring racing the Castrol Hondas leads the British 125 and 250 Championships. Honda Race Bred. Start your holiday in comfort, departing from Dover on one of P&O's luxurious ferries. You can enjoy the many onboard facilities, which include duty-free shopping, restaurants and bars, bureau de change. You can choose the option of club class, with the additional facilities of fax and phone, and some complimentary refreshments. Arrive at your port of destination relaxed and ready to go. For reservations, phone 0304 203388. An invitation from Mitsui Yamaha to the press release of their 1993 Yamahas was received by Motovision. With the date set for late July, it was an appointment which was eagerly awaited by all members of Motovision staff. Riders present were Manique Bavotes, backed by Johnson, Alessandra Puzar, who rides for the Michele Rinaldi Chesterfield team, Peter Johansson, another Yamaha Europe rider, while American Bob Moore officially rides for the Bird Italia team. And Donny Schmidt, another Rinaldi Chesterfield rider and current World Series leader. All were present at the Motorland test track near Asselt in Belgium and suffering from jet lag on the return from the USA Grand Prix. The limelight was stolen by this little gem, the all-new YZ80. It's good to see another newcomer in this class. Upside-down forks are finished in a smart steel grey. These forks were intentionally made longer to cope with a 19-inch front wheel. A rear disc brake replaces the old YZ's drum. And once again the Yamaha technicians have made the swinging arm to take the larger 16-inch rear wheel. The all-new liquid-cooled crankcase reed valve induction power plant sports the latest low-boy exhaust pipe for improved intake and exhaust efficiency. The rear subframe is completely detachable, which makes maintenance of the air filter and rear shock absorber much easier. The overall package gets its looks from the YZ Big Brothers, and with the current racing team performing so well, this will be one of the most desirable bikes for the mini racers in '93. Despite 4 models of this machine available to test, it was difficult to get a ride. But once on the track, the manners of the YZ80 were excellent. A neat riding position, large foot pegs and positive steering inspire confidence in the machine. The engine performance lacked a few revs at the top end, but we were assured by the Japanese technicians present that the first production run would rev harder. Overall, our test rider was impressed, but with no price available, it would seem that this machine is likely to be on the expensive side. A change of graphics is the first thing that you notice about the YZ125. Last year's model has been criticised for its lack of speed, but in fairness the 93 model has benefited from many improvements. Better brakes, new delta box swinging arm with improved chain guide and rollers, improved upside down front forks, restyled plastics front and rear, larger capacity radiators to improve cooling, an all-new frame, again with the detachable rear subframe. The engine's been improved by redesigning porting and combustion chambers, including a new power valve and low-boy exhaust pipe, complete with a larger and more efficient silencer. Manique Bavotes was quick to seize the opportunity to blast it around the Motorland test track. A rider of his capability clearly showed the machine's potential. Nearly identical in appearance to its smaller stablemate, the YZ250 shares many of the 125's improvements. Larger radiators, jazzy new YZ logos, stronger, lighter and less flexible swinging arm, thicker disc brakes, improved upside-down forks, which on all models do now seem to be working much better. The YZ250 has benefited from the race team's outstanding results, with Michele Rinaldi and Yamaha Europe helping each other to develop this machine. If it's image you want, then the YZ is one of the first things you need. Technical improvements include a larger airbox, detachable rear subframe and a larger, more efficient silencer. As the 250 is the machine that the Japanese have chosen to develop, the motor once again is even stronger. Shift the bike up through the gearbox and its torque is similar to a 500. In all fairness, last year's YZ250 was an underrated bike, but with the Yamaha's race team efforts and the improvements that they have made, this should make it a success in '93. On the track, the YZ suits riders of all standards. It can be soft and gentle or a real racer. Handling was as good as anything that we've tried to date, but as we all know, the other manufacturers will be working just as hard to improve their models. The YZ Yamahas of Schmidt, Moore and Pusar lead the world's premier motocross championship. The '93 YZ250 Yamaha has been developed from our successful race team. Don't miss out in '93. Visit your Yamaha dealer soon. Yamaha, a breed apart. Roger DaCosta tipped Stefan Everts to become a major force in world motocross when Stefan was just 16 years old. He's pictured here last year when he went on to become the youngest world 125 champion in his 18th year. His father, Harry, who has 4 world titles to his name, never strays far from his son's side. Factory Suzuki's and Sylvain Gabor's as team manager all contributed towards Stefan's success. For some riders, the pressure would be too much, but Stefan's temperament is second to none. The opportunity arose to be the #1 rider when teammate and championship leader at the time, Donny Schmidt, broke a collarbone. Stefan grasped the chance and never looked back. He was promoted to the Premier 250 class for 1992. The opposition looked formidable, but so many previous 125 champions immediately find success when moving up. A brilliant start in the Dutch sand was followed by consistent rides in Switzerland, Austria and Italy. He was leading the championship while riding in the German Grand Prix, but crashed in the first race, but was unhurt. He crashed again in the second. As he walked away, he was obviously in a great deal of pain. He was taken to a German hospital where they removed his spleen. We visited his local practice track to see how he performed the first time back on his factory Suzuki. One of today's modern riders, he works closely with a doctor and a trainer. His return to fitness follows a plan. Today, he's wearing a monitor strapped to his chest. It's similar to those that you find in a cardiac care unit. The readout is via a wristwatch, and as he rides, he monitors the readings. This is just one example of how calm but serious the team takes his comeback. He hopes to ride in Finland, but he'll not get the go-ahead until his final examination on the Monday before the Finnish Grand Prix. His parents and Sylvain Gabor will not let him ride unless the doctors say so. As Stefan prepared to ride, he gets final instructions from his father not to overdo it. The shorter than normal session is about to start. And back on the track, his relaxed and easy style was soon apparent.
Yeah, everything went very well. I was, after 2 weeks, a little bit running, and now after 5 weeks I'm normal and I'm riding my bike again.
And you say you would hope to ride in Finland.
Yeah, I think I can ride in Finland, I'm sure.
Today on the practice track, the speed is nearly what it was before the crash.
Yeah, I thought maybe I will be a little bit stiff to riding, but no problem, everything went well. My father said you're like before, so everything is okay.
The accident, can you remember much about it?
Yeah, it was, everything went so quick, but I remember a little bit from it. It was Danny Smith, he turned very short, so Peter Menet had to stop. And I wanted to turn off and hit Peter Menet and I crashed. And some guys hit me. And then I stand up and I had much pain in my stomach and in my back. Then we went to the hospital and they had to make an operation.
And at that time you walked back to the...
Yeah. Yeah, I walked back, but I started to get more and more pain when I was walking. And then we called the doctor immediately and he said you have to go directly to the hospital.
Leading the World Championship at that time, your starting was not good, but your riding was very good.
Yeah, my riding was good. Valkenswaard, everything went so well, like I wanted to. In Swiss, I had the third motor, some bad luck in the start. And Austria was very bad, my starts was not good. But I was sure of it that I could win it. But I crashed now, that's racing, and I'm thinking about next year, and I try to win it next year. And
Racing is important, but you are happy with your life. You was disappointed at the time, but now
Yeah.
your recovery is good.
yeah, I was disappointed. That's normal. I was leading and then you crashed. But life goes on, so I'm happy with my life. I'm happy, I'm healthy again, and I can race again.
You have a road bike. We have some pictures of the road bike.
Yeah,
You enjoy riding it?
yeah, it's very fun, especially when it's nice weather. You go in t-shirts, short pants, and you just go cruise a little bit.
You got that one from America
Yes, I bought it in America.
when you was riding Supercross.
Yeah. I had a special price and I shipped it. I didn't wait, yes, I take it.
And the family home where we are now.
Yes.
You lived here for a long time.
Yeah, all my life. It's exactly 18 years. I'm getting 20 this year, but 18 years I'm living here.
And when you won the World 125 Championship in 1991, we had a big party here for you.
Yeah, we had a big party. The town organized a big tent and everyone could come to the tent from all the town, and my fans and many people were there.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it was nice. It's a shame it's not this year.
But there is
Hopefully
plenty
next
left
year.
from this year because
Yeah.
you have the Supercrosses to come.
Yeah, I have plenty racing this year. Supercross and yeah, 2 more GPs.
Next year you will be fit and strong and you'll be much more experienced.
Yeah, I think next year it's going to be easier for me because it's a new class this year and new people you see, and it's a new bike, and I think for next year it will be easier for me. I was nervous after a few GPs, but now it was a good experience.
And you've been riding since you was 3-4 years old.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
you,
Also, yeah, after the house we had big some jumps. We made some jumps with the shovel, my father, and then I was jumping and always riding. Sometimes I was riding months, sometimes nothing. But most of the time, when the gas was empty, again full, whole day.
all day.
Yeah.
And your father's success, you was aware of what was happening at the time?
Not so much, but it was a very nice time for me. I was always walking around on the track and always watching the riders, and most of the time I see everyone crash. So I went to my father and said, oh, that guy crashed there, and you have to be careful there, and try that line over there. And like that, it was a nice time.
And the future? 250 World Championship next year maybe?
Yeah, I hope so.
And you have tried American Supercross this year?
Yes.
Will you be tempted to go to America maybe
Yeah,
for a couple of years?
I want to go, but first I want to win the title here, and then I go.
And before you say 2 years ago you look up to Bale, but now you are ready to do your own thing, your own style, your own way.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a time the press was always, are you doing same like Bale, you want to go to the States and this and that. But it's my decision, and I'm not following Bale. I want to do my own, what I wanted to do, what my heart says, I want to follow that. And it's not that Bale did that, but it's just the same way. It's stupid, but it is like that.
It's what you want to do.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
You are hoping to have some time off in December.
Yeah, I want to quit in December.
Yeah.
I think it's necessary to stop a while. I have now 5 weeks. I was not racing, but still many races are going to come, especially Supercross races, and you have to take a break. And next year it will be 15 GPs, I heard. So it's going to be more racing. So it's better to take some rest.
And you have a contract with Suzuki for 93?
Yes.
It's already done.
Yeah, I signed for 2 years, for this year and next year.
Do you see yourself staying with Suzuki for many years?
We have to see what happens next year. When they're still interested to race and to race in the GPs, and maybe I will stay one more year.
Stefan Everts, thank you very much for inviting us to your home this afternoon.
It's no problem.
We wish you a good recovery, and we will speak to you again soon.
Okay, thank you.
We heard him say one of his hobbies was jet skiing, so we caught up with him again at Johan Boonen's home, where jet skiing on one of his 4 lakes takes priority. Stefan's friends come from outside the 250 class. Jet skiing is a change from riding his motorcycle, and although the technique looks similar, it's completely different, and a session back on 2 wheels always follows. The lake freezes over in the winter, and then you see Johan Boonen and Jackie Martins racing around on trikes and quads. Stefan's jet ski ability does not match that of his motorcycle skills, but plenty of swimming practice aids his return to full fitness. Stefan checks his monitor for the final time, but his appearance at Grand Prix level will certainly send the opposition's heartbeats racing. Heron Suzuki wishes Stefan Everts a successful return to Grand Prix racing. Stefan, the current 125 world champion. Suzuki, more world titles than any other manufacturer. Find out the benefits when you buy any of the RM range from your local Suzuki dealer, or contact Heron Suzuki in Crawley, West Sussex.
here in Venezuela for round 8 of the World Class 250 Motocross Championship. Trampers Parker's machine there, number 1. The machines all having to come over by air, crated up and sent here to the Venezuelan Grand Prix, and each team having their own pit garage to keep the machines and bits and pieces in. And number 6, that's Pekko Väkänen's Yamaha. And number 4, Peder Johansson, the Swedes' Yamaha. Number 81 there, that's Bob Moore's machine. And here's Bob Moore relaxing before the start of the first moto.
Well, right now it's really smooth because all the riders are just now starting to get bumps and stuff, but right now it's pretty smooth, so we'll have to wait and see for tomorrow.
Moore suffering with the flu virus. Here's Donny Schmidt's machine, and here is Donny Schmidt.
Donny Schmidt, what do you think about this track?
Well, right now it's really fast. The track hasn't formed any good lines yet. There's some puddles in the track, and it makes us riders go around the puddles. It's very fast, but I think it's going to shape up pretty good. If we get some more rain and they water it good, it'll form some good lines, and it'll be a good race.
Well, a good race. Hopefully it will be. Donny Schmidt there, his opinion. Bob Moore, as we say, suffering with a flu virus at the moment. Not on top of the world, but here we go. Heat 1. Gate drops, and around the corner they come. And Moore is one of those riders that heads it. 81 Bob Moore, Donny Schmidt on the inside. But Moore at the moment, despite that virus, has certainly it's not affected his starting. He's got that Chesterfield Yamaha out of that gate like a rocket. Well, Herring is amongst that group somewhere. Bobby Evertson was there, Badermanet, Huzar was at the back of the pack. Here's Moore and Schmidt fighting it out for the lead. Schmidt going to the inside. He stuffs his teammate into the berm. Well, that's not very gentlemanlike now, is it? But he waves back at him, I think, to apologise. But it's Schmidt now, number 75, the American, that takes up the running at the front in this first moto here in Venezuela. Moore dropping back just a little bit, but Schmidt it is that leads. We can see that's Edwin Evertson, number 8 on the Kawasaki, that's now moved up into second place. Here's Schmidt at the front. Track looking just a trifle dusty in places. To me, it looks more like in some parts more of a road race circuit than a motocross track. But there you are. Schmidt seems to think it's quite a good track. Hoping for a good day's racing, and certainly this is a good start to the day. Leading this first moto away, Donny Schmidt on the 250 Chesterfield Yamaha. The team put together by Michele Rinaldi. He's the team manager. Look at that finish straight. Does indeed look more like a road race circuit. Schmidt, Evertson on the outside, trying to pick up a little bit of extra grip on the Kawasaki. There he is, number 8. Schmidt still leads number 75. The question now hangs in the balance. Can the Kawasaki rider Edwin Evertson get up amongst the Chesterfields? He's in there at the moment in second place. We're looking back behind him, and Schmidt already beginning to pass some of the slower back markers. They could, ooh, the back end of that bike very nearly went, and Schmidt almost went for an exit over the bars. But blue flag goes out to the back marker. These lads obviously can't realise the speed of these front runners, but Schmidt, the American, the former 125 world champion, here now leading the 250 World Championship and looking for his first 250 World crown. With the demise of the BFE Suzuki star, young Stefan Everts, who now recovering from that ruptured spleen and broken ribs. Maybe we'll hope to see Stefan back in the very near future. But Schmidt it is at the moment in the lead, in the race, in the lead at the championship. And just look at second place man, Edwin Evertson, climbing all over that Chesterfield Yamaha. It's Yamaha versus Kawasaki, first and second. Trying to look back for third and fourth, but at the moment our cameras stay on the battle at the front. It looks like Moore is still there in around third. Ooh. Oh, that nearly was the demise of Evertson. Evertson takes the long way around, lines up Schmidt on the inside. He looks at him as if to say, I'm a-going through and you aren't going to stop me. And that's exactly what he did. They get right in amongst the back markers now. A mistake from one of those slower riders could change the whole picture of this race. But it's Evertson hoisting it up over the jump, and Schmidt goes for the inside line, and that's what I mean. Everton very nearly collided with that back marker, but he took the opportunity, gave it a big handful of gas and kept it out there in front. Schmidt was unable to respond. Schmidt tries the inside line yet again. No real major ruts or berms building up on this track so far, but this is only the first moto. Things will no doubt change as the day goes on. It's Everton, number 8, who leads at the moment. Donny Schmidt, the American, in second place on the Yamaha. The Rinaldi team Chesterfield Yamaha. Moore we're looking back for, and look at Schmidt, pokes his wheel through on the inside to let Everson know that he's there, and here they come down that finishing straight again. It's almost heads down over the bars in top gear, and Everton's gone for the outside, Schmidt's gone for the inside, and Schmidt takes the lead. Everton comes back on the inside, but no way, says Schmidt. You've passed me once, I'm not going to let you do it again. Schmidt gasses the Yamaha away from the Kawasaki. We're trying to look back behind them. There is the first two, Moore, I think, and Trampas Parker now beginning to move up through the pack. There he is, number 1, Trampas Parker's now moved up into second place. So where has Everton gone? Parker, number 1, the defending World 250 champion on the Honda. Obviously problems with that machine earlier on in the year. Parker wasn't overly happy with the setup of the machine or the engine, but things now seem to be settling down because Parker is finding his form and indeed finding the pace because he's going after Schmidt. He's got him. He goes on the inside of Schmidt, and I think if Schmidt hadn't hit the brakes just then, he would have been off the bike. Parker blocked past him on the inside. Quite, well, reasonably legitimate move, as one would describe. They both got safely through the corner, but it certainly hampered Schmidt's attempts to get back into the lead. But it's Parker, number 1. The American now lives in Italy, married to a young Italian lady. They have one little baby boy at the moment. It's Parker that comes home and takes the win, the 20 points, to the cheers of his father and everyone else around the track. And look at those men run. Heat 2 gets off the line with the timekeeper and boardman running for their lives up the start straight. And it looks, well, there's more. Johansson, number 4, was also amongst that group as they come around. Can't quite see who it is that's got the lead, but it looks like Puzar, Alessandro Puzar, the Italian from Schmidt, the American. That's 2 of the Chesterfield Yamahas, 1 and 2 respectively, but Puzar, number 3. Finished 5th, 6th it was in the first race, Puzar. Wasn't such a good start for him today, but certainly he's here to make amends in the second heat. Puzar beginning to pull away. Young Alessandro Puzar came away from the English Grand Prix not as happy as he'd like to have been. A bad result in the last race when the rear subframe broke on him, but things are looking a lot better for him here in Venezuela. Puzar, number 3 last year in the world, so desperately looking to move up to take over command at the top of this championship, but his teammate Donny Schmidt, the American, I can assure you will have something else to say about that. Puzar it is at the moment on the Chesterfield Yamaha, the Rinaldi team squad, and Michele Rinaldi heard to say that it's costing him a fortune at the moment in win bonuses because his riders, Moore, Schmidt and that young man Puzar, really are the lads that are out in front Grand Prix after Grand Prix. Puzar it is, number 3. Keeping the bike wound on, lines it up for the jumps, moves his body around, lands it down again. No real sight of second place man. Now look at that foot out as he goes over the crank to jump, over the tabletop, into the corner. The Yamaha kicking and bucking all over the place, but Puzar refuses to submit to the machine. Here comes Parker. Parker now up into second place. Trampas Parker from the first heat win on the Honda looks now to be going into second position. The question now is, can he catch Puzar? It's a question that we have to ask ourselves, because at the moment, Mr. Puzar, Sandro Puzar, looking very uncatchable at the front. That's Monique Bavort's number 5 just gone through as we join the leader once again, Sandro Puzar, and he's now up amongst the back markers. Oh, what can you say about this young Italian? 1990 250 motocross champion. He lost that plate to Trampus Parker last year, finishing third, hence the number 3 on the side of the bike. Puzar, certainly a rider that was reckoned, or favourite we should say, to take the championship again this year. But Donny Schmidt, his fellow teammate on that Chesterfield machine, is at the moment making sure that Puzar's trail to the top is a lot harder than he would have expected. Picking up some of the local Venezuelan riders, and we pick up once again the race leader, Alexander Puzar, born in 1968 in Sivar in Italy, and second in 1988 in the Italian Championship, I should say, not the World Championship, because in the World Championship he finished third in the Italian Championship in 89, fourth in the World 125 Championship. So at the moment, he's leading that man, number 75, Donny Schmidt. And once again, our Venezuelan cameraman here favours some of the local lads, but Puzar, it is unstoppable at the moment at the front. Track conditions, as you can see, beginning to berm up in the corners, giving something for these bikes to get into as they come around. And that's a classic example. Throws the bike into the berm. Big handful on the throttle, foot down and whisked it straight out again. Out in the corner, Puzar, well, really is Mr. Unstoppable. In actual fact, I should think he's in a bit of a hurry. That was James Dobb, 23, that just went through on the Team Kawasaki. Well, actually, Team JD Kawasaki, we should say. James Dobb Kawasaki, although he does receive support from Kawasaki. Moments before, then number 5, Bavorts, but we're back with the leader. Once again, it's Puzar. I would say he's in quite a hurry because when he gets home, he's going to pick up his new Ferrari Testarossa. Mike Healy, Gunnar Healy, number 2 there, the remaining rider from the Bieffi Suzuki squad, with Everts out at the moment. And we might see Stefan back before the end of the season. Puzar it is. Back end of the bike, lifts up over the jumps. He's happy. He's got a big smile. Well, so would I be if I'd just bought a Ferrari Testarossa. Bit of a playboy is our Alessandro Puzar, and well, I suppose really that's quite normal for a lot of the Italian lads. They do like to play, and none such more than this man. Look at him, winds it up over the jump. He really is on the gas. I don't think anybody is likely to catch him at the moment, least of all Mr. Schmidt, or even this man, young Mike Healy. Healy it is, having not the best of seasons, coming from KTM last year to the Suzuki squad for 1992. 84 there. I suspect one of our local riders once again. Naturally, our cameramen here, the Venezuelan cameramen they are, picking up some of their obvious local favourites. But Puzar, at the moment, favourite to take the checkered flag and indeed the 20 points. He was a quick lad. One of his hobbies is actually helicopters. He likes to fly helicopters. Well, Mike Healy, one of his hobbies, is being rather outrageous. Oh, he's an American. Trampus Parker there, an American now living in Italy. The defending champion back with the race leader once again. Puzar it is. And he's looking at Bader Monet there, number 18 on the Honda. Bader, a former 125 champion. Puzar, former 250 champion, wants his championship back, and I can assure you that Trampus Parker would dearly love to keep that number 1 plate. Up that very fast straight, look at that. It's very much like, as I say, a road race circuit. It's almost heads down over the bar, flat out in top gear, I should imagine. They wind the way around the track again, very sort of, very light sand. There's Bob Moore, 81, and he's got, look like Pekko Väkkönen, number 6 behind him. So Moore suffering with a flu virus will no doubt sap his energy. Petter Johansson there, number 4, won his first Grand Prix Moto last year. Hasn't managed to compare that feat so far this year. Puzar here is out to pick up a win here and 20 points. And he really is. His favourite riders, Jean-Michel Bayle, believe it or not, and Eric Gabors. So really, he does indeed worship 2 great champions. In fact, Bayle seemed to be a past champion because Jean-Michel leaves motocross at the end of this year to go motorcycle road racing. But it's Puzar out there in front. Seems to have no worries whatsoever. quite happy with himself, taking his time. Doesn't have to rush it whatsoever. Because Donny Schmidt is a long way back. Parker is also back there threatening, so we could see maybe a change. There is Bavort's number 5. Once again, we go back to the leader. And as I say, we're looking back now behind Pouzar. Schmidt is still there. Moore is in 3rd. Vekinen was also there. And the Brit Robbie Herring was chasing around, back in around 5th place. But the cameras and all the eyes focused at the moment on this superb performance of this young Italian, Alessandro Pouzar, number 3, on the Rinaldi Chesterfield 250cc Yamaha. And unstoppable. So they are a bit sandy. Healy again, featuring quite heavily with Mike Healy. Very distinctive, very flamboyant young man he is. When you actually see him with his shirt off, you'll see that all his back is tattooed. And hairstyles can vary from year to year, but it's Pouzar that takes the checkered flag and those 20 points. That will make him a very happy young Italian. Well, there he is, receiving the congratulations of the Rinaldi team. And Pouzar, in actual fact, will be missing the motocross donations this year. He's going in hospital to have an operation on his knee, to have an artificial knee, I believe. So he's being wetted down a bit of water as we wait and see Heat 3 off the line. And I would hate to be those 5-second board holders. They really do have to leg it. Like Edwin Everson, that's got the whole shot on the rest. He was away. It looks very much like Everson that leads as the crowd charge from one side of the track to the other to pick up their vantage points. Whether it will be Pouzar that's got another whole shot, no, I don't know. It's Parker, Trampas Parker, number 1, the defending champion from Louisiana, USA, now living in Italy, married to an Italian lady, as a little baby boy. And Trampas, very happy man at the moment. A lot of water that's gone down on the track in the interval, as you can see. It looks almost as if it's been chucking it down with rain, but they really have doused it down well to get out and to prevent the dust problems that you usually see in these hot countries. But number 1, Trampas Parker on the HRC engined Honda, obviously now getting things sorted out. Mr. Parker Senior has come across to give Trampas a bit of a hand with the engine department, and to say things seem now to be sorted out a little bit. That's Robbie Herring, number 19. A very dark and black Robbie Herring. To say they really have doused down this track here in Venezuela to prevent the dust problems. But Parker's up front, and at the moment the cleanest man in the race probably. He really doesn't have to eat anybody else's dirt, which is the advantage about being out in front, I suppose. But Trampas Parker it is. Oh, someone has just gone down in a great big pile of dust and muck, and somebody nearly went down with him. I actually can't see who it is at the moment, covered in all sorts of slime and dust. But it certainly wasn't this man, number 1, Trampas Parker, the American, leading at the moment. He's actually living in Italy, in Vicenza. Former world 125 champion, 7th in the 250 championships in 1990, and the 1991 250 champion, and very much intending to keep this number 1 plate for 1992. But he's got a lot to do if he's going to catch Schmidt. First part of the season has been very disastrous for him. He just hasn't been able to get on the gas. Well, that's a rider. That's James Dobb, by the looks of things, number 23. It is the British rider, James Dobb, on the Kawasaki. Looks now to be in 2nd place. There's Evertson. Edwin Evertson also on Kawasaki, number 8. As the rest of the darkened figures come through, like Parker. There indeed it was, indeed Parker. Up and over the jump he goes, hangs on. All he has to do is stay away from trouble, up amongst the back. Oh, look at that! That's a back marker that's just careered straight into him. Donny Schmidt, he's in 3rd position. I don't know whether Parker managed to hang on to that, but that back marker just careered straight across the track, and I think he landed on top of Parker's shoulder. But Parker obviously stayed on. It looked very drastic from the shot that we had, but he stayed on because he still is, in fact, he's in the lead, yeah? Unbelievable stuff. Beta May, number 18, he's got Evertson behind him, and Monet at the moment is in 2nd position. Beta Monet hanging on. Evertson behind him on the Kawasaki number 8. Very difficult conditions now. The track has gone from one extreme to the other, from totally dry to quite slippery and mucky wet stuff. But Parker, yes indeed, he hung on to first place. Well, that was very, very lucky for him. Could well have picked up quite a nasty injury there. Foot rest into his shoulder, but he seems to be okay. Well, happy he was. 2 race wins. It's up 11 points as well. And that put him first overall on top of the rostrum, along with Donny Schmidt in second and Bob Moore in third and Edwin Emerson fourth. Monique Bavorts was fifth, Alexander Pouzar sixth. These are the overall results. Final results there, as you see. Well, it was certainly a good day here in Venezuela, and we up cameras and up teams and pack up our bikes, and it's off to Unadilla in America for the next round of this 250 world-class motocross racing series. See you there.
Kawasaki, the only manufacturer offering a full range of off-road motorcycles from the KX60, 80, 100, 125, 250 and 500. Customer care is our priority. For further information and the latest hot tips on your KX, ring Maria on 0628 85 1000.
News that Mike Healy's original 2-year contract with Suzuki has been reduced to a 1-year deal. It would seem that it clearly suits both parties. Healy and girlfriend Amy are so inseparable that pranksters put pillion foot pegs on Healy's factory RM Suzuki at the recent Venezuelan 250 GP. Rinaldi cuts the Chesterfield team down by 1, leaving only 2 riders for 1993. Bob Moore plans to marry in January and is hoping to return to the United States of America. Sandro Pouzar, who recently collected his new Ferrari, is unavailable for the Italian Donations team. A much-needed knee operation will take the priority. Here we see the new Japanese machines for 1993. Compatible components, meaning that rear and front discs, brake and likewise components will mix and match on all Japanese machines. Monique Bavorts, nearly a heat winner in the American GP. Had he have won that race, he would have been the first European in 7 years to win a US race. Pekko Väkkönen, number 6 here, crashing, not really adjusting to the new 25-minute per race format. Recent crashes and one in the American 250 Grand Prix resulted in a stay in an American hospital. For Pekko Väkkönen, a crash here may just see the end of his racing career. Stefan Everts, recently back from his spleen operation, he'll be racing in the 250 GP in Finland. Forthcoming attractions for issue 5, the 125 GP Guatemala, the 250 GP in Finland with Everts, the 500 Johnson's Belgium Grand Prix, Luxembourg 500 GP, and finally the Swiss GP. Who will be king of the world? Join us then and find out.